How's it going, friends? It is a beautiful, brisk autumn day here in Denver. I'm excited to share this video with you. It's a really great neighborhood. It doesn't necessarily pop up on all like the best neighborhood lists or anything like that, but it is beautiful, it is great, and has a ton going for it. And I don't know, I haven't seen a whole lot of coverage of this particular spot, so it seemed like, hey, we should probably do that. By the way, I mean, the autumn colors right now are so beautiful. All right, let's get it. How's it going, my friends? My name is Jesse Lynch, and I work with the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called Welcome to Denver, and you can check out our website, welcometodenver.co. But this YouTube channel is all about helping you find a place to call home, a place to land here in the beautiful Denver, greater the Front Range, really, of Colorado. And that's whether you're buying a house for the first time or relocating from a different city, state, country, planet, dimension, whatever. First-time home buyers, relocations, that's what we do. That's what we do better than anybody else. So if any of that appeals to you, then do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do everybody a favor, subscribe to this channel and click the bell so you can get notified every time we put out a new video just like this one. By the way, we just hit 2,000 subscribers on this channel. I'm very stoked for that. Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind, while I have you here, especially the people with anything helpful or funny or something to say, leave a comment. There's, you know, just anything helpful. If you know about a neighborhood, if you feel a certain way about a neighborhood, if you like certain spots, leave a comment. I think it's helpful to other people who are looking into a neighborhood and they can hear it from any, other sources other than just this video. And as always, if you are thinking about moving here, get a hold of us. We will crush it for you. Nobody will work harder for you than we will. You can go to the website, welcometodenver.co, as in Colorado, and you can fill out a contact form there in like 30 seconds or less, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. They lead to the same inbox, so it's completely up to you how you do it. We just ask that you do get the show on the road, get you headed to Denver. Today's video is a great little spot within Denver proper. It's called Speer, not S-P-E-A-R, S-P-E-E-R. And it's beautiful, so quaint, so cozy, and really just has a lot going for it. I'm excited to share it with you. So with no further ado, shall we dive in? Speer, Denver, sweet neighborhood, slept on, maybe a little bit, only kind of. All right, let's go. Right here is Broadway Avenue, and that is the western border of the Speer neighborhood. And actually, you might recognize Postino in the background. I think I was shooting there, but on the other side of the street for the Baker neighborhood video, because that is indeed the sort of northeast corner of the Baker neighborhood. But all up and down Broadway, tons of different shops, restaurants, bars. There's a 7-Eleven, and Broadway fundamentally goes directly into downtown, or actually comes directly from downtown, because it's largely a one-way heading south from downtown. And the Speer neighborhood is it's a great spot. It's really, really close to downtown. Let me show you. Obviously, this camera's so wide that you can't see, and it maybe looks very far, but downtown is just right that way. And from where I'm standing, I don't know, 5 minutes, maybe. But super easy, probably 5 minutes by bike, if I'm being honest. And from here, like pretty much everything in the city, you're pretty far from the airport, because that's how Denver is structured. You're maybe 35, 40 minutes to the airport. The boundaries of Speer are as follows. To the north, you have the Capitol Hill neighborhood. To the east, you have Country Club neighborhood and Wash Park. I think a little more Wash Park, actually. To the south, you have Wash Park West neighborhood. And then to the west, again, Baker, and then Lincoln Park, a little further north. Population in this spot is pretty dense because it's not a huge area. It's about 12,000 people, and it was ranked 14th best place for young professionals in the Denver area, according to niche.com. You're gonna have access to Denver public schools, naturally, because you're in the boundaries of Denver proper. And those schools are gonna range fairly dramatically, but generally good schools for the area, and access to great charter schools as well here. So specifically talking high schools, you have the Byers High School. That's a public charter school that gets an A+, serves the whole area. You have East High School. That's a public schools that serves sort of the northeast of Speer, right? So the northeast section is served by East High School, which is like an A+ rated public high school. Very, very good marks, and known as being a good school. And then you're also served partially by South Public High School, which gets an A-, which is obviously not as good, but which is still pretty good, especially when we're talking a neighborhood in the city. I think I'm gonna turn down this way. But yeah, you can see all over here, just tons and tons of commercial along Broadway. There are plenty of very solid middle schools as well that serve the area. You have Byers Middle School, again, public charter, that gets an A. You have Maury Middle School, that gets an A-. Merrill Middle School, that gets a B+. And Grand Beacon gets a B-. And for some reason, there's only 2 elementary schools that seem to serve the area. Could just be population based, and I don't know, yeah. But all we could really find is Steele Elementary School, that gets an A-, and Lincoln Elementary School, that gets a B. So again, not bad marks, and generally quite good marks for public schools within the city. And then when you combine those good public schools, maybe not top 5, maybe not elite public schools, but generally quite good public schools, with the home prices, it starts to look pretty attractive, I think, just as a neighborhood as a whole. So median sale price for single family homes is maybe like $580 or $6 or something like that. Right now, the cheapest home on the market is $625, but there's not a whole ton of inventory on the market. Again, not a huge piece of land, but about $600,000 median home price for single family homes. That's not too shabby at all. There are some condo listings. Those vary dramatically, like literally $200,000 on the low end, up to $2.5 million on the high end. And I think because you're so close to the city, like you could have quite a urban cosmopolitan lifestyle here in Speer and live that condo lifestyle if that's what you wanted, while still being maybe a little bit removed from the city. And the population is sort of split 70% owners, 30% renters, which, you know, I think makes sense, especially when you consider the public schools and when you consider like how beautifully maintained the area is. Let's go for a drive, show you around a little bit more, and then we'll talk pros and cons. Maybe I'm gonna go somewhere quieter for that. So right now I'm just on this very beautiful street. It's actually the Grant Street Historic District, and just right around here, there are just so many beautiful little historic homes, historic buildings. This church is quite a beautiful church as well. But I just want to talk through pros and cons of the Speer neighborhood as I see them. So I think pros wildly outweigh the cons in this particular neighborhood. It's a very well-balanced city neighborhood. So first of all, good schools, right? You know I'm going to say that if the schools are, better than average, which they are. There's access to some very, very good schools as well. And then next you have a really nice, beautifully maintained outdoor spaces, especially for how small of a piece of land it is. There are several sort of park spaces. There's even the creek that runs through. And I think the Speer neighborhood is just a really nice balance of really great park spaces, but then also, with that great access to all the commercial spaces, right? All along Broadway, I think all along 6th End, there's tons and tons of commercial spots. So convenient for like all of that kind of stuff. Next up, it's 10 minutes to downtown Denver. That's about as good as it gets, without being in downtown. In addition to just being close to downtown, it's very walkable, right? So you could work in downtown, you could probably, commute, you could bike, you could maybe walk. That might be a little bit of a hike. But you also can enjoy this neighborhood without a car pretty well, kind of all the way throughout. And then I think all of that is made even greater when you realize that it's actually cheaper than the median home price of the rest of Denver, the whole Denver metro. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think about some of the stuff, the neighborhoods that are nearby, like a wash park, that's way more expensive on the median than here. Even Baker is more expensive than here, but you're gonna have a pretty similar lifestyle. And sort of last pro and sort of on that lifestyle, it's like a vibrant neighborhood, right? There's just stuff going on. There's people all just outside all the time, and it's kind of just feels very alive, which leads to what is maybe the first con, or what might be a con for some people, which is that vibrancy could feel chaotic at times. I would say, especially along Broadway, it can feel a bit chaotic, just like busy happening, and fair bit of traffic going through there. And then really the last con that I can think of is that Speer Boulevard kind of runs through kind of the middle, which can make it feel a little bit disjointed at times. Navigating with a vehicle can be kind of annoying, and not as obvious, because only certain streets go through Speer Boulevard. But that on the flip side of that coin is there are more dead-end streets and more sort of roads that nobody's going down because there's no through street. So that could be a positive as well. That's all I can think of. And like I said earlier, I think the pros just dramatically outweigh the cons for this neighborhood. Maybe, okay, last con is compared to a wash park, compared to maybe a Congress Park or a Cherry Creek or something like that. There's going to be a little bit more dinge here than in those neighborhoods. But when you realize that it's maybe half the price on median, then, well, okay, I can kind of tolerate that. But all right, let's go for a drive, and then I want to talk through some other spots that you might want to consider if you like what you see here in the Speer neighborhood. All right, let's go. Y'all, and if you've been watching these videos, we've been making them for a hot minute now, and if you have, you know that we have a little section we like to call the For Fans of section, which is basically, if you like what you see here, then maybe here are some others to consider, because for different reasons they have similar vibes. Your lifestyle might be very similar, and yeah, different things to offer that all sort of maybe feel similar. And also, we just have clients who would consider all of the above. Know what I mean? Before I dive in, I would just like to say that if you are thinking about moving here, get a hold of us. We'll crush it for you. Nobody will work harder for you than we will. So you can go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in 30 seconds or less, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. They lead to the same inbox, so totally up to you how you do it. We just ask that you do, and then we'll be able to get the show on the road for you. You know what I mean? And hey, by the way, as of this video, I'm now officially a licensed loan officer. And so I have a team who can help you through the loan process from start to finish. Just amazing people that I'm lucky enough to work with as far as that goes. And then also, starting now, every video, every one of these virtual tours will also have an experience video along with it. We started sort of introducing them, but now it's going to be a little more baked in. So we'll do a virtual tour, and then alongside of it, we'll do the experience video, which is just the B-roll, just the vibe. So if you are at all into this video, if you're still watching it, my God, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you can at least see that video for this neighborhood. But hopefully we can offer you just so much value, so much information about these areas. So let's dive in. For fans for this, I think it's pretty interesting. I think there are several spots around Denver that have similar, I don't know, experiences, similar aesthetics, similar vibes. The first of which is Baker, right? That one's obvious because geographically it's extremely close. But Baker is very similar in a lot of ways. You're probably even going to the same restaurants and stuff if you live in Baker or Speer. And then the next is Capitol Hill. But I think Capitol Hill is a little bit more like hipstery, a little bit more like, I don't know, city. It's a little tighter, a little older, and just a little more like hectic, for lack of a better term. So, but it does still have a lot in common. Then on sort of the northwest side of Denver, it's not that far from here, maybe 15-20 minutes from here, but there's a neighborhood called Sunnyside. Sunnyside is like adorably kind of cute and quaint and has a lot of similarities to what you're seeing here in the Speer neighborhood. So those are, I think, kind of the closest. And then if you're looking for something like a little more upscale, right? Just not a ton, not like luxury or anything like that, but a little bit more upscale, I would say the University Hill and University Park neighborhoods have a lot in common. They're a little more college-y, right? So maybe a little more like Capitol Hill in that regard, but also the homes are beautiful in that neighborhood. So, you know, they have just, I think you're gonna find like a similar level of walkability, similar level of like cool little spots to, you know, catch a bite, meet up with friends, something like that. And then the last place is Congress Park. Congress Park to me would be, if you like this vibe, but really want it neighborhoody, don't want a ton of like commercial, right? You just are like, I want like this kind of cozy neighborhood feel without, you know, quite as much commotion. It's a much more sort of peaceful version of this, if that makes sense. But hey, this has been the Speer Virtual Tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, subscribe to the channel, say something nice or funny or whatever in the comments, and yeah, see you in the next video. Or I suppose you might see me for a moment in the experience video of this neighborhood. All right, see ya. Bye-bye.